Most Amazon resellers are losing thousands of dollars because they're tracking their inventory, their costs, and their profits in completely disconnected systems. But Sellerboard actually just launched this incredible end-to-end reseller workflow that connects everything from your initial product sourcing all the way through FBA shipment creation with complete profit tracking. And so in this video, I'm going to show you why this integrated approach is such a game changer for resellers and how it solves the biggest problems that keep most resellers from scaling their Amazon business. Now, before we dive in, I do need to let you know that this video is sponsored by Sellerboard. They're the only sponsor I've worked with on videos. And so they've reached out because they've just launched this incredible new reseller workflow feature. And honestly, after seeing what it does, I think it's going to completely change how serious resellers operate their businesses with this tool. Because before, Sellerboard was just a profits tracking dashboard, and they did a lot of great things that I've made videos on throughout the years. But now they're integrating so many different tools from a mobile app to their integrated reseller workflow for shipments. And so I'm really excited to be able to show you these additional features of Sellerboard. And if you're somebody that wants an extended 2-month free trial of Sellerboard, then be sure to use my link at askjimmysmith.com/Sellerboard. You can see that link down below, and we'll make sure to put it in the description for you because you do get an extended free trial with that. It is my affiliate link, full disclosure, but I want you to be able to access that free trial. So let me jump into the software and show you exactly what this workflow looks like and why it's such a game changer for resellers. Now, I currently jumped into Sellerboard's demo account, which I love. If you just go to that link at askjimmysmith.com/Sellerboard, you can even check out the demo account. So that way you can play around with the tool a little bit. And I use it a lot for these videos because it's so helpful for me. Now, with the reseller workflow in particular, what you need to do is you go into Sellerboard and then you go down to inventory and click on reseller workflow. Now, I'm not going to go through an entire tutorial of how to use this and how to process a shipment because Sellerboard's already done that. They've got this nice little question mark up here. If you simply click on that question mark, you can see there's a video for reseller workflow, and it talks about and guides you through the whole process of starting with scanning products and importing your buy lists to then moving on to listing offers, entering cost of goods sold, printing labels, and creating your inbound FBA shipments. So if you want a full demo of that, you can actually see that on Sellerboard's website. But the reseller workflow is designed as an end-to-end process built specifically for resellers, where it's going to connect everything for you, whether you're scanning the products in stores or you're sourcing them online, all the way through creating those FBA shipments and the complete cost tracking. And so whenever you create a new workflow, you're essentially going to be setting up a batch of products that you're going to process together, just like if you're doing any other type of FBA shipment. And so you're going to give it a name, you're going to set a starting date, you're going to select your supplier. And this is important because you can track which suppliers are most profitable over time. And you can even choose whether it's FBA or FBM if you want to keep track of all of your FBM listings in this same exact dashboard. Now, whenever you jump over here, if you haven't used it for the first time, you're going to see the opportunity or this little screen that pops up where it's going to help you to start your first reseller workflow. It's going to talk about adding a new batch and how you can create the inbound shipments. And so you simply would click create workflow. And so after clicking to create workflow, you're going to have the ability to create your new batch, and you're going to want to put in a batch name. A lot of times I would recommend utilizing your supplier plus the date or something similar. If you're using multiple suppliers, then it could be online arbitrage and the date, whatever you want to call it, but create a batch name for it. The start date is simply going to be today is what I recommend. And then you can add your supplier. Now you can either add a new supplier if you haven't worked with this supplier before, or you can select from your list of previous suppliers that you've had from the past. Now, this is where you're going to select FBA or FBM. For most people that watch this channel anyway, it's going to be FBA. And then the marketplace, Amazon.com, is what you should be using. This is for most people anyway, that's what you're going to be using, unless you're selling on a different marketplace. But this one is showing Amazon.ae from the screenshot that I have. And then finally, you're going to import your product data. Now, you can either select a file where you're importing that from another location or a buy list. And so if you're using Sellerboard's mobile app, you can select a buy list. And whenever you click on this button, you're simply going to be able to upload one of these few options. So first is selecting the buy list, which would pull over from their mobile app. And I highly recommend using that if you're doing any type of retail arbitrage, or even if you just want to keep track of everything from an online arbitrage perspective. But you're going to select that, or you can download a template where you're going to actually add that template and then upload it back to Sellerboard. So that way it can add all of those products into this one batch or shipment. And then finally, you could actually import data using a Google Sheet. So if you do have different places that you keep information, you can use these two options. But if you want a fully connected workflow like Sellerboard is providing us here, then utilizing their mobile app and their buy list is what's going to make it the simplest, because all you'd have to do is select the buy list that you want to be able to create a batch for, and then you'll be good to go from there. Now, once you have your first workflow set up, you can actually see everything at a glance in this reseller workflow dashboard, where you can actually see your supplier information. You can see the starting date. You can see the number of products in that batch or that shipment, as well as the number of units. You can even see the total cost and the marketplace, as well as the channel if you want FBM versus FDA. And then finally, the status, whether it's closed or in draft. With this, you can also select this to edit or to delete a particular batch, but that's up to you. You can also simply click on one of these to do some editing in that particular batch if you're trying to utilize or add more products to the shipment. Now, whenever you dive into this is where it's going to be very apparent the power of this workflow, because you would have, if you're using the mobile app, just selected the products from the batch that you'd already created while sourcing, and then had it automatically upload all of the items to Sellerboard for you. And you can see all of your products inside of here with the SKUs that would have been created for you and the quantities, as well as the price and your cost of goods, so that way you've got accurate tracking for all of the profitability from a Sellerboard perspective. That's why I love this, is because it's all working together for you, and it's all automatically populated from your sourcing data if you're using their mobile app. Now, I actually did a video a couple weeks back, as of the time of this recording anyway, on the FIFO, or first in, first out cost tracking method that Sellerboard recently implemented, and the importance of that. And I highly recommend checking that out, because this is one of the things that allows Sellerboard to stand out, is that essentially Sellerboard gives you more accurate cost data when it's reporting your profits, because it's updating costs as your items sell out from Amazon instead of averaging them from different sourcing trips together. So if you have 10 units of old inventory that was $5 and you just did 20 units of new inventory that costs you $6, instead of it averaging together a cost for all 30 of those units, it's going to allow those 10 units to sell out at $5. And then after those 10 units sell, it's going to automatically switch you to the new cost method of the $6 for the remaining 20 units. And so as you sell out of the old inventory, your new cost is going to be updated for the newer inventory, and that allows for the most accurate profit analysis, which is super helpful. And this workflow is going to automatically create proper cost batches for each product. You can actually have it create FIFO batches whenever you go and click on save batch and start doing the shipment workflow. And then that's what's going to allow it to be accurate from your profit analysis. And so your profit calculations are going to be accurate essentially from day one if you utilize the FIFO method. Now, I did go through the other couple of methods that Sellerboard has in that video. I recommend checking it out after this one if you haven't seen it yet, because it's going to be very helpful in knowing when do you use which cost basis for each product, and that's super important. Now, you can also see in here the listing status for each product. So if products aren't currently listed, you actually get options to create offers or to relist products that you've sold before. So I could simply add a new product into this batch, and I could choose from any of my products, or I could search on Amazon's catalog. Now, since this is a demo account and is not connected to Amazon's catalog, I can't see anything. But if I simply were to search for baseball, if this was connected to Amazon, it would show all of the results for baseball. Or I could just add in an ASIN and it would search Amazon's catalog for that ASIN. And then I could add that into this batch as well. Because whenever you add something into a batch, if you've never sold it before, there's even a SKU builder that's going to let you create a template with different variables. So it's going to build out that SKU for resellers, which I personally like to have the supplier in there, as well as the cost, the date that I'm purchasing this. And you can even put in some other fields if you wanted to have a very specific SKU for all of the new items that you generate. And then it's just going to do that automatically for you as you upload new SKUs. Now, this is huge for organization and tracking. It's something I've been recommending to students and that I've done myself for years at this point. And so I recommend setting up that SKU that's custom. So that way you can take a look at your SKU and you know where it's from, how much it cost you, the date that you got it, etc., versus having some of these generic, number 19 or number 24 for the SKUs. Now, after you have everything ready to go here, the next stage is actually having Sellerboard create your actual Amazon listings. Now, if you already have SKUs in there, it's just going to simply do a restock. But for anything new, it's going to create those Amazon listings for you and add it to your seller account. And again, Sellerboard has this nice demo video showing you the entire process. If you just simply click on this question mark up there, and then you'll be able to see the reseller video from there. And so let me go ahead and refresh this page so I can make sure that this is going to populate, because that video is going to show you all of the detailed information that you need on the reseller workflow. I believe I actually need to be in the main reseller workflow page for that to populate. And so I recommend checking that out on how the actual shipment process works and the step-by-step process that you need to follow to get that working in your account. Now, another great thing about Sellerboard's reseller workflow is they actually allow you to create packing templates as well, which you can see in that demo video that I mentioned earlier. And so if you're regularly buying similar or the exact same products, you can save templates with units per box, with dimensions, weight, and prep details. So that way you can reuse that for future shipments. It makes it really simple after you set it up the first time. And so this is going to save you a bunch of time on repeat products. And that's what I love to do. And so here's why this matters so much, because when you get to the FBA shipment creation stage, the system's going to then ask you if you want to create those FIFO or first in, first out cost batches. And so that means all the cost data that you entered when you first source the products will automatically flow to create the proper cost tracking for your inventory, as I mentioned earlier. And so most resellers are either not tracking their costs accurately, or they're manually entering their cost data whenever they create their FBA shipments. And many times that can be after they've bought the products. And so with this workflow, your cost tracking is automatic, and it's going to be accurate from the moment that you source that product through their mobile app. And then the final stage is going to take you through Amazon's standard FBA shipment creation process, but with all of your data already populated, making it super simple to create and send that shipment. Now, the reason this can be so impactful is that most resellers are operating with workflow fragmentation, so to speak, that everything that they have in their business is fragmented and in different places. And so they're using disconnected tools and manual processes that don't talk to each other. And this is something that Sellerboard is attempting to fix and has fixed. Because if you think about the typical reseller workflow, you might use one app for scanning products, and then maybe use an Excel or a Google Sheet for tracking your purchases. And then you use Seller Central for creating your listings. And then you use something else for trying to track your profitability. And then you're manually entering in all of your cost data whenever you create FBA shipments. And every time that you transfer data between those systems, you risk making mistakes. And that's what starts to tank businesses, as you think that you're profitable on a product when you may not be. Or maybe you're really profitable on a product and you didn't realize it. Additionally, every manual step also takes extra time. It's not something where you are error-free and you're going to be super efficient. You actually have a higher likelihood of making errors, and it's going to slow you down. And so having this workflow is going to help you to avoid that issue, because every disconnected process makes it harder to see the big picture of your business profitability. And whenever you're trying to scale, all of these manual handoffs become bottlenecks that prevent your growth. But with this reseller workflow, everything is connected, from purchase to shipment to accurate profit analytics. The product that you source becomes the listing on Amazon, which becomes the FBA shipment with accurate cost tracking. It's one seamless flow of data and processes. As you can see on my screen right here, you've got the reseller workflow to create those batches, and then you can go back in and check out all of your products, all of your different costs, make sure things are profitable. You can look at inventory planner and your purchase orders, FBA shipments, suppliers. Everything is managed in one place for you. And this means fewer mistakes, less time spent on administrative tasks, and most importantly, complete visibility into your true profitability. Now, don't forget that if you're interested in an extended 2-month free trial, you can head over to askjimmysmith.com/sellerboard. You can find that link below and in the description. And now this system is specifically designed for resellers, people doing retail arbitrage, online arbitrage, wholesale purchasing, or really any kind of product sourcing where you're buying existing products and reselling them on Amazon. And Sellerboard even has the ability for you to utilize their tool for Walmart and Shopify as well, which we will talk about in a different video. But if you're sourcing products from stores or any types of wholesale suppliers or clearance sales or anywhere else, this workflow can completely transform how you operate. And so instead of making mistakes because you're copying data between systems, your information will flow automatically and accurately. And instead of having to remember what you paid for products weeks ago when you're creating your FBA shipments, all that cost data is already in the system. Now, I know some of you may already be using other tools for your reselling business and may be wondering if you need to switch everything over to Sellerboard. And I get it. It can be a challenge to get things moved over because changing your entire workflow is a big decision. But here's the thing. If you're serious about scaling your reselling business, you need systems that work together, not ones that are duct taped together. And the time that you're going to save, the mistakes that you'll avoid will essentially pay for the tool quickly, and you get 2 months free using that link that I've mentioned multiple times. Now, hopefully this video has helped give you a good overview of how to utilize the reseller workflow and how it can really maximize your processes in your Amazon business. If you have any questions, post them in the comments down below. Happy to answer as many as I can. And if there's anything specific on how to use the tool, you can check out their demo account on Sellerboard, as well as looking at their reseller workflow video to see the step-by-step process of how do you create those shipments and how it works together for you. I hope this video helped you and blessed you. You have a great rest of your day and a blessed rest of your week.